Well, welcome to Gilda's Club Kansas City's class on saving for retirement with James Merriman. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the class over to him right now.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys for attending. We're going to talk a little bit about retirement. Um, we're going to talk about a few different things about retirement, and then we're also going to answer some questions that you might have. So, like she said, my name is James Merriman. I work with Missouma Credit Union, and I handle all of our community development with the credit union. So, what that means is I look for ways to partner with organizations just to kind of help give back to the community that we all share here. So let's start by just kind of talking about, what is retirement? What does that really mean? And most people plan on saving for or want to save for retirement. And sometimes it's difficult to know where to start or what your options are. Research has also showed that most families don't have enough savings set aside for retirement, including those that are approaching retirement age. If you have started saving for retirement, that's really great. This workshop can help you determine what else you might need to do to make sure you can reach your retirement savings goals. Beginning to save is important, but also making sure you know how much to save is also important. So we're going to first start by looking at the agenda. So in this workshop, what you're going to do is we're going to examine the factors you should consider when planning for retirement. Also learn how to estimate your retirement expenses. We're going to identify the savings and planning strategies that allow you to maximize your savings at any age. We're going to compare the types of retirement plans available to you, and we're also going to set goals for your own retirement savings. Many of you have probably already started saving for retirement. Many of you have at least thought about that. Some of you might have even enrolled in savings plans or retirement savings plans even. So, kind of be thinking about those things as we're speaking through these and find out, are these things you're already doing, or there's some things you might want to do a little differently, or maybe there might be some questions which we'll be able to answer at the end. So we want to start, when you're considering retirement, there's really a few things that you want to consider. You want to consider your income. So how much you can save depends on your current income. Your current income includes everything you earn, which would include your salary, tips, welfare benefits, any other sources. So that's just anything that you are earning. You also want to take into consideration your expenses. So think about the kind of lifestyle that you want to have when you grow older. Remember, you won't be working anymore, but you will still have to pay for expenses. Think about your current expenses as well. It'll help you plan for savings goal. Make a budget so that you can better understand how and where you're spending your income. Then see if you can cut back on that spending and then move that money into savings instead. And there are different resources out there for budgeting, and I've done some different budgeting classes, and we'll probably do so in the future for the Gilda's Club. So kind of be out on the lookout for that if you haven't already attended one. So also there's your health. As more and more people are living longer lives, it's important to consider medical costs. They can include the cost of prescription drugs, emergency care, surgeries, and insurance. And lastly, it's your taxes. Even in retirement, you can still be taxed. Income earned from retirement investments may put you in a higher tax bracket, and any earnings might be taxed. There are also other factors such as interest rates or savings, earnings on investments, and inflation that you should also consider. So I think we're letting one more person in. So let's talk a little bit about the value of money. To have financial security when you're no longer working, you need to develop and implement a retirement savings plan as early as possible.
Chicken?
A good retirement plan also allows you to plan for unforeseen expenses, deal with changes in living situations or health, and remain independent in your later years. So think about, how do you plan for retirement? Now keep in mind that your annual retirement savings should equal at least 70 to 80% of your current annual income. So if right now your annual income is, $40,000 a year, then you're going to want somewhere around $30,000 a year for each year that you're retired. That would be 75%. So that'd be right in between 70 and 80%. So the way you want to do this is first you want to start by determining how long you will likely be retired. This estimate requires thinking about when you will likely retire and your life expectancy. You might think about how long family members typically live, use a national average. Currently it's about 85, or play it safe and estimate on the high side. These numbers are just an estimate, but are a good place to start planning. And just like any kind of planning we do, we have to spend a little bit of our time just kind of guessing, and that's not going to be a perfect guess, but at least it gives us something to begin with. So then the next step is to figure out how much money you'll need each year to live securely. Everyone's different, but like we mentioned, a good rule of thumb is 70 to 80% of your annual income. That's what you're going to want for your retirement savings each year. So the next step is pretty straightforward. So if you take what age you expect to retire, so let's say you're 50 years old right now, and let's say you expect to retire at 65. Estimate what your monthly expenses are. So how much you're going to need per month to retire. Now, keep in mind, if you have a mortgage now and that mortgage is going to be paid off by the time you retire, that's not going to be an expense. You'll still have your house insurance. You'll still have some of those things you escrow for, like your taxes, property taxes, real estate taxes, that sort of thing. But keep in mind that you may not have as high of expenses when you retire. And really, the goal is to not have as high of expenses when you retire. So estimate what those are going to be, and then take the total months of retirement times the monthly expenses, and that's the amount that you're going to need for retirement. So let's say you say you're going to retire at 65, and you think that you're going to live to be 85. That's 20 years times 12 months. So that's 240 months. So you'll take 240 months, multiply that times your total amount of expenses. Let's say that you have, just to make the math easy, $1,000 in expenses. That's $240,000 is what you would need in retirement to make sure that you could retire comfortably. So you can also adjust your retirement savings goal amount or increase your monthly savings to reach your goal. But like we said, money isn't the only thing that you want to factor in. A lot of people need to understand what the value of time is. Okay, so if you start at an early age, you may earn more over time, and if you start late, you may need to save more per month to make up for that difference. Some people started very early in life. Maybe they had parental encouragement. Maybe they had some enrollment through their work, like 401ks, that sort of thing. Or maybe they just understood the value of starting early, from a mentor of some sort. Sometimes people wait till they're a little bit older, and that might be that they don't know how to start saving for retirement when they're younger. Maybe they don't think they can afford to set that money aside when they're younger. Maybe not all work plans offer a plan, or not all different careers and employers offer a plan. Some people chose to spend their money on other things. Also, some people just didn't understand the value of starting early. So there's ways that you can catch up if you do start later in life, and that's through either saving more or trying to increase your income at the current time until retirement. So let's begin by looking at an example of one person's goal to retire at the age of 67 with at least $600,000. The key thing to remember here is that the earlier you begin to save for retirement, the less you will need to save each year. For instance, if the person's goal was to retire at the age of 67 with at least $600,000 saved, they would need to save much less if they started saving when they were 18 years old versus when they were 50 years old. Without factoring in the impact that compound interest would have on retirement, an 18-year-old would need to save approximately $12,245 every year to meet that goal. However, if that person waited until they were 50 to begin saving, that number would increase to $35,294 annually. So your financial situation influences when you start saving and how much you can save. If you've not begun saving yet, don't worry, it's not too late. Thankfully, one of the major benefits of retirement savings accounts is that they offer compounded interest. That has the potential to increase your money exponentially the longer you save. So let's take a closer look at that. Here we see just simple, where you have just simple savings, simple interest. Then when we talk about compounding interest, you can notice that that line really starts to jump up. So compounding interest is basically earning interest on interest. So rather than just earning interest on the amount of money you save or the principal amount, compounding interest is interest earned on the principal amount plus the amount of accumulated interest. The more frequently interest compounds, the greater the total compounded interest and the greater your retirement savings. It is like your money doing the work for you. The earlier you start saving and investing, the greater the power of compounding interest will be for your financial future, and the more money you'll be able to save for your retirement. So let's return to the example we just discussed about starting to save for retirement at age 18 instead of, say, age 50. We will assume that you still have the goal to retire with at least $600,000 at the age of 67. However, in this example, the 401k account that you're going to use to save for retirement averages a 6% return. By factoring in compound interest, the amount you would need to save each year decreases dramatically. That's because you're earning interest on your principal amount and then earning interest on the increased number. So in an account with 6% returns, an 18-year-old would need to save $2,198 per year for 49 years, rather than that $12,245 number that we used before. While a 50-year-old would need to save $21,266 per year, rather than the $35,294 that we talked about before. So you can adjust your goals or harness the power of time and interest to reach your savings goals. Let's look at a scenario that'll help us understand how compound interest works over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to think about how interest compounds. This is Joan's retirement plan. If Joan invests $100 in a retirement account, adds $50 to it each month, and earns 10% interest, how much will she have at the end of 40 years? So what you're going to do is examine each one of these graphs, chart A and chart B, and then decide which one accurately shows how much Joan will earn in the 40 years. As you can see, they're much different based on A and B. They start off similar, but then as they get closer to the 40 years, the numbers are dramatically different. So chart A shows how much Joan will actually earn in 40 years. Chart B shows without compounding interest what she would earn. So keep in mind that compounding interest means you can earn interest on the interest, and many people underestimate how much they can save over longer periods of time because of compounding interest. Now that you know how to use time and interest to your advantage, let's figure out where your retirement income may come from. Because retirement income could come from a variety of sources. Many options are available to you, especially if you plan ahead and choose options that may be most useful for you. Now keep in mind, I want to kind of go back to this real quick. The difference is dramatic here, where in 40 years, in chart A, using compounding interest, she was able to save $270,000. Whereas if all she would have done is just put the $50 per month in there in 40 years, she would have only had $24,000. So keep that in mind, how important compounding interest is. So what types of accounts could retirement income come from? Savings accounts can provide retirement income. CDs can provide retirement income, as well as Social Security will provide some of that income. 401ks and also IRAs. Your retirement income can come from any of those sources. So let's take a little bit deeper look at each of these sources. Most of your retirement income will most likely come from your personal savings, your retirement plans you've enrolled in, Social Security, investments, and other sources. So when we talk about personal savings, if you aren't already saving, now's a good time to start. Many savings vehicles are available to you. And as you've learned, the power of interest and compounding interest over the time means that saving even a small amount starting today can have a positive effect on your future financial health. So when we talk about employer-sponsored retirement plans, You may already be enrolled in one of these, such as a 401k through your job. If your employer offers a plan and you have not signed up, you may want to read up on what other plans are offered and decide if it's a good fit for you. If you don't have access to a retirement plan through your job, don't worry. We'll take a closer look at different retirement plan options available to you in the next section. So Social Security. The Social Security Administration is a government agency that helps older and disabled Americans and their families. Social Security benefits are one of the most important sources of retirement income for many people. The amount you receive is based on your lifetime earnings. For people with average income, Social Security replaces about 40% of their income. You can collect Social Security benefits as early as age 62, but if you wait longer, you can collect a larger amount per month. Now, that's very important that we're talking about Social Security here, because up until this point, we were kind of thinking, okay, we need to make all of our retirement while we're in our working years. And really, that's not exactly true, because we are going to get a little bit of it from Social Security. So let's talk about investments. Just like savings accounts, investments can also grow over time and add to your available income during retirement. Many people choose to invest in real estate, stocks, bonds, antiques, or other valuable goods. Investments can be risky, but they can also be rewarding. We're going to explore some ways to manage the risk shortly. So then we talk about other sources. Your retirement income can come from other places too. Owning a home may provide a variety of ways to earn income, including renting and selling. You may also receive inheritances, gifts, or money from friends or family that can contribute to your retirement fund income. Now that you know where your retirement income could come from, let's discuss how you can build and grow those sources. Savings is an important and valuable financial habit. It's also one of the keys to growing a stable source for retirement income. So think about what your current saving strategies are. Where do you save your money? Do you save it at home under the mattress? Do you save it in a bank? How often do you save? Do you save every paycheck? Do you save every other paycheck? What's the hardest part about savings? How much risk are you willing to take with the money that you do save? Whether you're already saving or you're planning to start, it's always helpful to know the specifics of putting together an effective retirement plan. So planning for retirement means you'll need to save as well as also invest. First and foremost, saving for retirement involves putting aside money from what you currently earn so that you can invest it. Therefore, you need to budget your money so that you can save a certain amount each month. There you go. You see that budget thing again. I can't stress enough how important a budget is to start you off on saving for your retirement correctly. It's important that you make it a habit to set aside at least a little money for retirement on a regular basis. It is ideal to save part of every paycheck for retirement, but if that's not possible, put some amount aside monthly or several times each year. Once you have some money saved, you may decide to invest it. Consider how much time you have and how much risk you're willing to take. When you invest in things such as stocks, bonds, or real estate, you hope that they will be worth more over time than what you paid for them. This type of investment may be risky because some assets may go down in value over time. A strategy many investors use to spread out risk is called diversification. Diversification is like making sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So it's important to keep in mind, though, that diversification doesn't eliminate the risk of losing money. Deciding how and where to invest your money is up to you, and we cannot tell you which choice is best for your particular situation. However, lots of options are available, and we'll explore some shortly. Let's look at some of the most common types of retirement plans. There are several types of plans, all of which are designed to help you accomplish your long-term savings goals. Retirement accounts allow you to save money as cash and/or invested in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and other investment vehicles. Let's look at a few types of accounts. Keep in mind that when you're ready to start planning, you'll benefit from doing some more in-depth research to find the plan that best meets your needs. Many employers offer tax-deferred retirement plans such as 401k and 403b accounts, which allow participants to make pre-tax contributions to an investment account. The earnings on your investments grow tax-deferred, and if you leave that job, your contributions and earnings are yours to keep. Every employer-sponsored plan is different, so research the rules for the options available to you. So this is a retirement savings plan offered by an employer. With this plan, you decide how much money you want taken out of your wages and invested. The money invested is tax-free, but any money you withdraw in retirement is taxable. It's important to remember that early withdrawals are not only taxable, but in most cases they incur an additional penalty tax. Actual plans and details will vary based on your employer and other factors. The most well-known and valuable feature of the 401k is that some employers can choose to make a matching contribution. That means if you contribute 3% of your salary, for example, the employer may add another 3%, bringing your total contribution to 6% of your salary per year. Many employers require you to work at their company for a certain amount of time before you can keep all of their matching contributions if you switch jobs. This is called vesting. Any employer contributions that are vested are yours to keep. The 403b is a type of retirement fund offered to people who work at tax-exempt organizations such as schools, religious institutions, or nonprofits. It's very similar to the 401k. It generally tends to have fewer administrative costs and employers and shorter vesting schedule. So a defined benefit plan. These plans used to be very common. These plans, often referred to as pensions, provide workers with guaranteed benefits like monthly income upon retirement. Typically, they're calculated according to years of service and earnings. Now, as far as IRAs or individual retirement accounts, if your company does not offer a plan, or if you're unemployed or self-employed, you can start your own individual retirement plan or IRA. You can also increase retirement savings by contributing to an IRA as well as your employer-sponsored plan. So you can have a 401k with your work and then also start an IRA on your own. There are two main types of IRAs. There's traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. So let's talk about taxable contributions. In a traditional IRA, your contributions are not taxed until you withdraw the money. With a Roth IRA, you contribute after tax income, so you may withdraw money tax-free at retirement. There are some age limits, however. You can contribute to a traditional IRA plan until age 72, as long as you're earning taxable income. With a Roth IRA, there is no age limit, and you can contribute as long as you're earning a taxable income below a certain limit. Make sure to research these limits as they change from year to year. When it comes to contribution limits, for both traditional and Roth IRAs, you can contribute up to $6,000 per year if you are age 50 or older. Your contributions can be as high as $7,000. So up until 50, $6,000. After 50, it can be as high as $7,000. When it comes to withdrawal penalties, both traditional and Roth IRAs may have tax penalties for withdrawing early. However, there are exceptions, so consult a financial advisor or expert before making any decisions. As you can see, there are many options to choose from. Make sure you speak with a financial planner, accountant, or attorney. Do more research and consult your loved ones while making these decisions. They're very important decisions. Knowing your options is always a good place to start, but how do you choose from these options? Choosing a retirement plan that benefits you is important. As we go over the factors, consider and do the following. Under each plan type, you'll notice two options. You want to check that you know it if you already know the answer, or you need to learn more if it's something you need to do more research on. So let's go over the factors that you may consider when comparing plans. So matching contributions. If you're able to enroll in an employer-based retirement plan, such as a 401k, check to see if your employer will match your contributions and when the matching contributions will vest. Try to contribute enough to get the full employer match. The best way I've ever heard that mentioned to me was an uncle-in-law who I was thinking at one point about not contributing the full amount that my employer would match. And he said, "Why would you not take free money?" And that's that was great advice. So I think that contributing the amount to get your employer to match the full amount is very, very important. When it comes to fees, there may be several fees associated with different types of accounts. So remember that. And if it's something that you already know what those fees are, then that's great. If you don't know what those fees are, make sure you check that that's something that you need to look into. Withdrawal limits. Sometimes you may want to withdraw money from a retirement account early. Check to see if there are any penalties associated with an early withdrawal. Some plans, such as a 403b, may allow you to withdraw money as a loan. Be careful though. So tax status. There's no escaping tax on your retirement income, so think about whether it makes sense to pay taxes now or when you withdraw the money. Tax brackets. One way to think about making a decision about tax status of your plan, such as deciding between a traditional or Roth IRA, is to compare your current tax bracket with the tax bracket you think you'll be in during retirement. If you expect to be in a lower tax bracket when you retire, you may choose a plan in which you pay the tax on the money when you withdraw it. The reason is that if you withdraw it at a lower tax bracket, you'll pay fewer taxes. Talk to a tax professional or financial planner to find out which is the right decision for you. The plan purpose. Most people set up a retirement plan to provide for their own future. However, many people also set one up to provide for their spouse, their children, grandchildren, or a charity. Knowing the purpose of your plan can help you decide which one will help you achieve your goals. Discuss your plan with a financial planner or estate attorney, as there may be unexpected tax consequences when your loved ones inherit a retirement account from you. Retirement plans and personal savings aren't the only way to save for your retirement income. Let's look at how investing outside of retirement accounts can add to that. Another way to plan for retirement is to invest directly in vehicles such as stocks and bonds or a diversified combination of several options. So when it comes to mutual funds, you can pull your money together with that of other investors by purchasing shares of mutual funds, which are made up of a number of assets, including stocks, bonds, real estate, and cash. They vary in other ways too, such as the types and locations of the companies in which they invest. Actively managed mutual funds are overseen by a fund manager, while index funds are built to match a market index. Stocks. Stocks are when you can own a part of any publicly traded company's assets and earnings by purchasing stock in that company. You may often hear people refer to stocks as shares or equity. The price of company's stock may go up and down. Some stocks also pay a dividend, which is a payment of the company's profits to the stockholder. You can keep your dividends as a source of income or reinvest the dividends back into the purchase of more stock. Then there's also bonds. Bonds is where you can lend money to corporations and government agencies and earn a fixed rate of interest for a specific period of time. The borrower pays you interest on the principal, which is the amount you originally invested. Bond rates are tied to interest rates. Bond prices fall as interest rates rise. You may earn a profit by selling the bond for a higher price than you paid for it. Investing may seem risky to many people, and whether you want to do so depends on your ability to tolerate that risk. Let's look at some strategies to manage risk in investments. No matter how you invest, you'll need to understand and manage risk. Consider stocks, for example. The value of stocks depends on many factors over which you have no control, such as the company news and performance, industry performance, and economic factors such as inflation and interest rates. And this is why when a person does know these things at a time, it's called insider trading, and you can go to jail or worse. So keep that in mind. There's all these things that are going to happen with stocks that you will not know until it's too late. Collectibles such as antiques or artwork can also be highly risky, but may also have a high reward. If you have many years until retirement, some experts suggest considering more risk and investing in financial products such as stocks or stock mutual funds. Stocks are sometimes considered riskier than bonds, but may have the potential to earn you more money over time. Likewise, as you get older and you have less time until retirement, you may want to focus on lower risk investments with fixed income such as bonds. Either way, evaluating how much risk you're willing to take with your retirement savings is an important decision. One way to manage risk is to diversify. Let's take a closer look at diversification. We talked earlier about why diversification is important to managing your risk. You can diversify by investing in different instruments or assets. Let's look at the different options available. For any kind of retirement saving or investment, it is important to research all your options and speak with a professional who can help you understand the best way to invest your retirement savings in terms of diversification, risk level, and tax issues. As you get closer to retirement, you may adjust your investments to further manage risk. Let's first talk about a low-risk portfolio. With a low-risk portfolio, you may face lower possibility for loss, even though risk still exists in these, and a lower possibility for return. Low risk portfolios may include more money in savings accounts than in investments, and more investments in bonds than in stocks. You may choose a low risk portfolio if you are less willing to accept risk or volatility. When we talk about a medium risk portfolio, with a medium risk portfolio, you may face possibility for moderate returns, moderate possibility of losses. You may also choose a medium risk portfolio if you're willing and able to accept some risk or volatility. Lastly, there's the high risk portfolio. With a high risk portfolio, you may face possibility for larger returns, larger possibility of losses, but you may choose a high risk portfolio if you are willing and able to tolerate more risk or volatility. When you assess your retirement time horizon and tolerance for risk and investment, and you invest accordingly in a low, medium, or high risk portfolio, you'll be one step closer to a retirement savings goal. Having a plan to save for your retirement is an important step to take. Now let's look at how you can keep your plan on track. So all of these statements that you see, read them aloud and think about the amount of times that you've said these things. I know I've said them. I'll eat better after the holidays. That's a big one for me. I'll wake up early to exercise tomorrow. The snooze button comes in real handy. I'll start saving when I get a raise. Sometimes it takes a long time to get a raise. And then sometimes when I get the raise, I think, I kind of want to spend that money. I'll go to bed early tomorrow, but my favorite show is on right now. I'll stop watching after this one last episode, and then you're starting the next season in no time. And I'll borrow less on my credit card next month. So almost all of us have thought or done all of these things at one time or another. We all favor instant gratification over long-term gains. Instant gratification means that we prefer to enjoy something now or in the present. This is also called present bias, or the tendency to choose to enjoy the present over the future. What can we do to reduce present bias? Let's look at some strategies. Knowing how much you'll need for retirement is a great first step to take. Now let's look at how you can create a plan to reach those goals. Once you've explored several options and identified the best strategy for you, it's time to put your plan into action. First, set your goals. Setting a goal is the first step towards becoming financially secure in your golden years. We've already taken the first step in the workshop, but you may want to review it when you get home. Even if you think the goal may be difficult to reach, making a plan is a good sign. The more you think about and plan for the future, the easier it becomes to overcome short-term gain and present bias. Select from the actions you plan to take or have already taken. Develop your strategy. You now know that there are two main ways you can build a retirement income, through savings and through investments. Think about your future and select a plan that will help you achieve your financial goals. Select from the actions you plan to take or have already taken. Then you want to implement and maintain your plan. One way to commit to your retirement plan is to set up scheduled or automated deposits into your retirement accounts or plans. Make your money work for you over the long term by putting it away on a regular basis. It's also important to know that once you get started on a retirement savings and investment program, it is not a set it and forget it type of proposition. Your savings and investment need to be continually managed over time to ensure that you are maintaining risk and return levels that you need for a secure retirement. Review your retirement accounts and savings on an annual basis and put in place the most effective combination given where you are in your life currently. Select from the actions you plan to take or have already taken. Also remember that reflection can be a powerful motivator. Imagine who you want to be in the future and visualize the kind of life you would like to be living. This simple activity may help build healthier financial habits in the short term. It is important to develop and implement a strategy for planning a stable and secure retirement. So what's your plan? Whatever it is, get started today. So we also, now that you have the understanding and tools to develop an effective retirement savings plan, remember that the earlier you start saving, the better. Also remember that you're not alone in this venture. Retirement plans and savings can help you grow your money. There are professionals and organizations who can help you invest your money effectively to help provide a financial secure retirement. Once you have a retirement plan effectively in place, you can start looking forward to those years of rest and relaxation. So I think that that's kind of goes over the information there.